All right, so this first example is just a review from Math 3 and Pre-Calculus. It's the inverse composition rule. And it says if we take a function and plug it into its inverse, everything should undo itself and it should just equal x. So we're going to test to see if these are inverses, or we're going to show that they are by doing f of g of x. So we're going to take everything in g and plug it in for f. So it's 2x cubed minus 1. So I'm going to plug in the cube root of x plus 1 over 2 in for x. Well, when I cube a cube root, those undo each other. So then it's 2 times x plus 1 over 2. Well, when I multiply by 2 and have divided by 2, those two things undo each other. So I'm left with x plus 1 minus 1. I have a plus 1 minus 1, so I'm left with just x. So that shows that f and g are inverses of one another. Now that's not enough alone. I then have to do g of f. So I'm going to take f and plug it in for the x of g. So that would be the cube root of x plus 1 divided by 2. So I'm going to plug in 2x cubed minus 1. So the first step, the negative 1 and the plus 1 equals 0. So I'm left with the cube root of 2x cubed over 2. 2 divided by 2 would be 1. So I have the cube root of x cubed, which ends up equaling just x. So again, because everything canceled out and I'm left with just x, it shows that f and g are functions of one another. So if I were to graph these two functions, I can just do a little x and y chart. All right, so if I plot these points, negative 1, negative 1, 2, 3, negative 1/2, negative 1.25, 0, negative 1, 1/2, negative 3/4, and 1, 1. My graph looks something like this. The next one, the values will be very easy, because when I have an inverse, my x and y's just flip. So it's negative 3, negative 1, negative 1.25, negative 1/2, negative 1, 0, negative 3/4, 1/2, and then 1, 1. And so when I plot these points, it's going to be reflection over the line y equals x. And that is a rule that you learned in Math 3 and we reviewed in Pre-Calculus. And so they are functions because they are reflections over the line y equals x right here.